How you doing, Blues? It's Alex outside the Etihad once again. It is the end of the season, and what a season it has been for Manchester City. Highs and lows, peaks and troughs, vintage Manchester City. I'm going to go through 1 to 11. I'm going to do Blue Moon Rising TV's Team of the Year. I want you to let me know in the comments every time I get it wrong, because I'm sure people disagree with me. There are so many contentious ones, so many players who narrowly missed out. I'm going to go for a 4-1-4-1 formation. I'm going to start with Willy Caballero in goal. I think he's the obvious choice. Claudio Bravo has been a real talking point this season. You've seen fans divided in a way that you've not really seen them for a long time at this club. Bravo in, Bravo out. It got to a point where fans were booing Claudio Bravo, and Willy Caballero was the man to sweep that up. He maybe isn't the best goalkeeper in the league. He might not be up there with the Courtois and the Petr Cechs and the David De Geas and so on, but he was a safe pair of hands when we needed it most, and he took all the pressure on, and he did exactly what you want from a backup goalkeeper. He is out of contract, and we'll find out in the coming days if he's going to stay here at Manchester City or he himself will move on. But Claudio Bravo, I personally don't disrespect him. I don't think I want to harm him. He's had a fantastic career for Barcelona, Chile and so on, but I don't think the experiment here at Manchester City works, and it'll be fascinating to see if Pep Guardiola keeps him around for the 2017-2018 season. Okay, I'm going to move on to the back four. So Guardiola experimented with 3 at the back at the start of the season. So I'm going to compromise. I'm going to start at right back, and I'm going to put in Fernandinho, who's played there the last 10-15 games or so. Whilst I did start the season in the pivot, and it was almost a brand new Fernandinho, a player that has been immaculate for us the last few years. But maybe towards the tail end of the season, you thought maybe we are going to need to move him on in a couple of seasons. He was starting to show his age, but he's been reinvented throughout the season. He started out in that pivot role, and he's moved back. And when we've been struggling, when Sanya got injured, as Zabaleta has started to tire, we've experimented with Navas at right back. Fernandinho, by and large, has done that job. And when we've got the ball, he's allowed the club to transition to 3 at the back, move it in, supporting the midfield, and let De Bruyne or Yaya or Silva or whoever it is drift forward. And that is why Fernandinho makes my Blue Moon Rising TV Team of the Year. Left back is a hard one because I don't think Gael Clichy or Alexander Kolarov have covered themselves in glory, but I'm going to sneak Kolarov in. He played so well in those first 10 games of the season at centre-back. We couldn't believe it. I, amongst a lot of fans, thought Kolarov had seen his last days, but once again, another player that Guardiola reinvented, and he had some great games at centre-back. So I'm going to sneak him in at left-back. But that said, I think we have probably now, it is safe to see, seen the best of Alexander Kolarov, and a new left-back in the summer will be top of the shopping list. Vincent Kompany has to captain this team. He's not played every game of this season. He spent most of it out injured, and the first to admit that. And when he did come into the team, I think November last year, first coverage of injury, he didn't look quite right. He didn't look like the fit. He was playing the long ball. He didn't seem to get into the passing mentality. And all of a sudden, you thought maybe these Kompany, it's not right for Guardiola. Maybe he's going to get moved on. But once he came back for his injury again, he's looked as fit as ever. He looked like he's in his golden years. Superb. Tonight, outside the Etihad at West Brom, awesome tonight. Vincent Kompany is the captain and the first centre-back in my Manchester City team. And Nico Otamendi. Now, John Stones played well. He had his moments, but he also had a few mistakes, as a lot of the media predicted and are absolutely loving talking about. But Nico Otamendi, since Kompany has come back, has been a changed player, and he's really blended into this Manchester City side. And I hope he sticks around for next season, personally. I think he's got a lot more to give, and I can't wait to see him next year. Okay, into midfield. I'm going to go for the 4-1-4-1 formation. So I'm going to put Yaya Toure in that pivot. It's very tempting to put Fernandinho in there. If Ilkay Gundogan hadn't got himself that season-ending injury, maybe he would have taken this place, no problems. But Yaya Toure came into the side around Christmas and showed us exactly what we were missing. He's rolled back the years time and time again, and whilst he has settled into his age a little bit, and he's not doing it every single game, there's been a few games where he has saved us, and you've seen actually as the season has gone on, he's probably earned himself a contract extension, and I would, for one, I'd like to see him around here again. At 4, it has to be on the wings for me. Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling. What a future they have got ahead of them. Raheem Sterling's had his little bit of criticism, but you've got to remember how young Sterling and Sané are. I think there's like 6 or 7 months between them. They have been electric, and when they have been on form this year, they have looked so excited, and I can't wait to see them back in Manchester City shirts next season. Down the middle, we've seen David Silva and we've seen Kevin De Bruyne sharing that number 10. I'm going to put them both in there. When they have been on form this year, they have been electric, as good as ever. You don't need me to tell you how good David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne are, and I think for one, it's a little bit of an injustice that Kevin De Bruyne hasn't been in with a shout of Team of the Year. I think maybe in March, April he was struggling a little bit, but for me, he's been awesome this year and thoroughly deserves every little bit of credit that comes his way. Up front, I'm going to finish it with Sergio Aguero. Everyone's talked this season about Sergio Aguero not being right for the Guardiola team and all that rubbish, but actually Sergio Aguero, he's a 20-a-season striker. He's banged the goals in. He has adapted, and whilst it hasn't been his best best ever season of Manchester City shirt. Once again, he's done the job, and that's why he's got to be in my team. He's got a big summer ahead of him. He's got to be competing with Gabriel Jesus and possibly Kelechi Iheanacho and possibly even a new striker on the way in the summer if the papers are right. We'll see how that turns out. But Sergio Aguero, for me, 2016, 2017 is my striker at the top of my 4-1-4-1 Manchester City best 11. Now it's over to you guys. Correct me where I've gone wrong in the comments. Have your say. This is a fans channel. It's all about you. And while you're there, hit the like button. This is Blue Moon Rising TV.